What are you losing in life because you're not motivated? What opportunities are passing you by? How is your life actually getting worse because you can't seem to make yourself get up and get moving? Is it something with your health and now you're packing on the pounds because you just can't seem to get yourself motivated back into exercise, or maybe into exercise for the first time? Or could it be something with your career to where opportunities are passing you by, but it's worse than that. The ability to move forward, you're actually losing ground. And in your relationships, you just can't seem to feel like you're making any headway because you keep falling back into those old habits and routines of taking others for granted. But I'm not motivated to blank. Well, let's break free from the exhaustion that's holding you hostage in these hurtful habits. That's what I want to share with you today. I'm Dawn Ferguson, certified hypnotist, certified instructor. I train others to do this, but the important thing is I focus on rapid results. And the reason why you're not getting the results that you want is because you have an identity that's tied in to motivation instead of inspiration. And how is that a problem? Because motivation means to be forced to move from an outside source. Forced to be moved from an outside source. I mean, when we're little kids and we're looking at, oh, do we have to get our homework done? Well, it's because we have a parent standing over us hollering that, yeah, this is what's going to have to happen. And the only reason why we turn into the project at work is because the boss put a deadline on it. And the only time we decide to do something about our health is whenever we get the diagnosis that we might be pre-diabetic. So we're waiting for something outside to make us move forward when really what we want is inspiration. Inspiration says to be moved from internally. We do it because it's part of our identity, not something we have to be forced to do, but something that if we do not do it, get up and take that action that's actually going to help us. Well, oh, we can't stand to feel like that. And so we'll actually do it because it's who we are, not something that we have to be forced to do. So think about an area where you're struggling. You just feel like you do not have any motivation, and let's start looking at a couple of things that you can do on your own to be able to get some results. The first thing is, when are you trying to be motivated to do something? And do you actually have any willpower left to be able to do it? Because if you're waiting at the end of the day, no, there's nothing left. Let's look at the 4 levels of willpower. We have avoidance, impulsive, compulsive, and exhaustion. So, willpower avoidance. This is when we're not wanting to engage in something. And willpower, until it becomes part of our identity, is what we have to invoke to say, I'm going to make myself do this. It's motivation. It is not inspiration. And when you're trying to do it on your own, yeah, that's what you're going to have to rely on. Well, avoidance willpower says, I don't want to engage in that. You know what? I don't want to have those sugary snacks because the doctor told me I might be pre-diabetic. So just don't even bring them into the house so I don't have to worry about slipping. But if they are in the house, you've got to spend willpower to move away from them. Now, that's going to be pretty easy for you in the day. But as the day goes on, you're going to find you're going to slip into the next level. So avoidance is saying either I cannot have it in my environment, or I'm going to spend a lot of willpower trying to get away from it. Then after that, you have what's known as willpower impulsiveness. And this is whenever something comes up, you're not used to having it in your environment, and you're going to use your willpower to just come up with a decision right off the cuff. And that takes units of willpower to be able to do that. Someone says, "Hey, can you help me move this weekend?" And without thinking about it, you're like, "Yes." Okay, so not having to be motivated to make the decision. Do you really want to do this? You're not taking that time. You're doing an off the cuff decision. Let's go ahead and do this because maybe it's a good friend. So, impulsiveness with willpower can be a good thing until you find that you're doing some things impulsively without thinking about them that are going to hold you back. So if you find that you're impulsive on decisions that actually hold you back, instead of using those units of willpower to go, yes, say you have to think about it 24 hours. Now, so you've been using your willpower first thing in the morning to avoid things, and then impulsiveness. Now you're going to sink into the next level. And the next level around willpower, it's what's known as compulsiveness. There are things that you are just compelled to do, and it just seems like it almost happens automatically, normally, and naturally, like maybe your mid-afternoon slump. A mid-afternoon slump can be handled a couple of ways. One is brisk physical activity for about 10 minutes to get things going again, and the other one is using sugars and caffeine to pump you back up. And as you're engaging in the behavior, if it's a negative behavior, you're using up units of your willpower to judge yourself that it's a negative behavior, but you're not doing anything to avoid it. Why? Because that was at the beginning of the day. The beginning of the day was spent avoiding things. And then you moved into impulsiveness, and now you're compulsive. You're running habits and patterns that you're like, these are not good for me. And you just can't seem to be motivated to break free from them because you're running out of willpower. And then the very last level, which can hit as early as 3 o'clock. For some, they can go all the way till 7, and that's going to be willpower exhaustion. There's nothing left. It's because you used it all up avoiding things in the beginning of the day, then making impulsive decisions that are going to hold you back, then judging yourself for the compulsive behaviors that actually hurt you, but you're not doing anything to stop them because by that time you're already weakened, and now you're absolutely exhausted. There is nothing you can seem to do to move forward. And it is at this time when you will typically experience about 2 hours where you will engage in every bad behavior that seems to not just hold you back, but it is actually suppressing and repressing the very person that you want to become in order to move forward in life. So what do we need to do? Well, number one, we need to understand, when do you need to engage in the activities that are going to make it easier for you. So whatever you've not been motivated to do, guess what? It needs to be first thing in the morning. When you've got the willpower, when you've still got the ability to make choices to be your healthiest. Don't wait till the end of the day. And if that means you've got to get up earlier so you can get to it, okay, so be it. Now, whenever I work with people in hypnosis sessions, I am going to utilize whatever's in their environment later on in the day to trigger the identity of being motivated. So maybe I tie it in, I do a double bind to your tennis shoes. And as soon as you put them on, you're hit with a surge of energy. But we're not talking about what I can do for you just yet. We're talking about what you can do to be able to begin to move yourself forward. So whatever it is that you feel like you haven't been motivated to be able to accomplish, you're going to need to do it as early as possible in the morning. Do not wait until you have nothing left and then decide that's when you're going to take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself comes first. People go, oh, that's selfish. No, that's self-centered. There's a difference between being selfish and self-centered. Selfish says, everybody in their world needs to do things for me. This is what will help me. Self-centered says, I can't be there to help anybody else until I take care of me. And so you need to be self-centered, and you need to be self-centered on what you've been lacking the motivation to do first thing. Okay. Now let's talk about identity upgrades and what you need to be looking at in order to be able to move yourself forward. If you were to take 5 circles and each circle is nested inside the next one. So it's kind of like those nesting dolls. You draw a small circle and then a larger and a larger and a larger around each of those first circles. Draw 5 of those. And then I want you to label each of these circles. The first one is going to be money. The second one's going to be health. The third one out, the third ripple out, is going to be relationships. The fourth one is going to be career. The fifth one is going to be untapped potential. Now, maybe you've worked with a coach, or you've listened to someone on what is known as the 5 to Thrive. These are the 5 areas of your life you're looking at improving at any point in time. And they may have done this exercise for you, but they didn't do the exercise in a way that empowers you. So let's think of something that you've been putting off. Maybe working out. So let's use that as an example, but you can pick your own area. And they say, okay, well, tell me, working out, how is that going to increase your finances, your financial health? And working out, how is that going to increase your health? And working out, how is that going to increase your relationships? And that's actually not the way we become inspired. We become inspired, motivation moving into inspiration, from having to be forced on the outside to do something to where it's actually internal because it's part of our identity. We have to do that by saying, what identity do we develop at the level, not how doing something is going to increase it. So let's walk through that exercise together. You can substitute whatever it is that you've been putting off, but I'm going to use as your example working out. So and we always start at the bottom level. Money, wealth. Why is that? Because all those other areas need that to be flowing correctly for you to have the energy to be your very best, and the ripples that are created out from that. So you can almost see these circles as ripples. And that's how our mind works. Is, if you drop a pebble into a pond, well, the ripples move all the way out to the edges of the shore. It's the same way with our identity. When it's developed in one area, it ripples all the way out. So let's look at how you exercising can increase your finances. Well, you're not going to have to spend money as much because you're getting sick, right? But it actually increases your capacity to earn more, because people who are physically fit are looked upon favorably by others. And I know that there are people who go, well, that's not right. Yeah, it shouldn't matter your size. Well, that's true. But there's also truth to the fact that the more physically fit you are, the more you're able to handle emotional challenges. They fit in together, which is the reason why you can look in the military at elite level special forces and go, look at the emotional challenges they have to handle, and look at their level of physical fitness, because the two correspond together. You look at somebody who's out of shape, and there is internally wired within you a discernment, not a judgment. A judgment makes somebody wrong. A discernment says, that may not be correct for me. You make a discernment looking at them going, I know that they're not necessarily in a state to where they could handle a lot of things going on at once. They don't have the physical energy, and they certainly don't have the mental energy, because our brain follows our body. It's not just the body following the brain follows the body. And I'm looking at their level of fitness. Yeah, that's telling me that the brain can't handle a lot going on at one time. Alrighty then. So it's getting physically fit, not achieving it, but moving towards it. When you move towards a level of physical fitness, you start carrying your body differently. Your head is held higher. Your chin will typically be held an inch higher because you're developing competency. And competency is the precursor to confidence. It doesn't mean that you've got your end results. You're working towards it. You're pushing through things. So you're going to carry yourself differently. And people are going to respond to that because over 60% of all communication is nonverbal. So your ability to increase your wealth, your money-making opportunities are going to increase because you're moving into a level of physical fitness. But whatever your challenge was where you feel like you're not motivated, use this exercise like what I said and put yourself in there and say, now that I'm going to do this first thing in the morning, how is this going to increase my opportunities for making money? Now let's take that identity that you are now upgrading. I'm confident in my wealth that I'm creating. How is that going to impact your health? Not the fact that you're exercising. No, the identity upgrade in wealth. Now, how's your health look? Well, I'm going to be less stressed. I'm going to be less stressed because I've got the opportunities. Maybe it's a full-time hustle. Maybe it's a side hustle. Maybe it's an opportunity in my current job. But I've taken action. I am now moving from motivation into inspiration. And so now that means my health, I'm going to be less stressed. That means that I'm going to look for opportunities to begin to challenge myself in that area. And now that you're increasing your wealth opportunities, again, we're doing the 5 to Thrive, and that has increased your ability to be healthier because now you're looking for ways to challenge yourself physically. Well, what are your relationships going to look like? Because you're the type of person that says, you know what, I'm in command of what I bring into my life, and I'm also in command of how I allow myself to be challenged. What type of people are going to be attracted to you? It's definitely not going to be takers. Because when you're a doormat, you only attract those type of people. You attract what you are, not what you want. So we've already looked at upgrading your identity in these two areas. Now we're moving into relationships. You're going to be attracting in other people who want to be powerful like what you're exhibiting mentally, emotionally, and physically in your environment. So they either want it or they've already got it, and they see you as a companion. So now that your relationships are a heck of a lot healthier, your health, you're looking for ways to challenge yourself, and the money is flowing easier. What are your career opportunities? What's opening up for you that you didn't see before? Because before you had what's known as a subconscious scotoma, a blind spot, areas of a wealth of things that you could be moving into, and you couldn't see them because you were so focused on having to force yourself to be motivated. Now, this inspiration is becoming part of your identity. It's just natural expression. What career opportunities are there? Would you stay at your same place? Would you look at going someplace else? Would you look at going into business for yourself? Would you be looking at adding on a skill set because now you've got the money? Now you've got the money, you challenge yourself to continue to develop. You're attracting in the people that are always going to force you to be a better version of yourself because that's what they see in you. You are inspired. So what's the next arena in your career that can bloom and blossom? And then finally we get to the last area, which is going to be untapped potential. What might be waiting for you that you hadn't even thought of? but it's been calling out to you. Now you're going to be able to hear that call because this is the type of person you are. You're always looking for the next arena where you can fully express yourself. That's what it means to be inspired. And when you're better, the world is a better place. Okay, knowledge is great, but actually having the knowledge work for you is even better. So I've got something for you to take action on. Here's what I've got. If you want to be able to utilize hypnosis for rapid results, discover all 5 of these levels and how they can move you into rapid results. You'll see a difference same day. That's how fast your powerful mind works. But using the triggers that are already around you, the triggers that were setting off avoidance, I don't want to do that. Instead, challenging you to bring you out at your very best, that's what I'm going to offer. Now, you can work with myself or you can work with one of my associates. Go to canhypnosishelpyou.com and you can see how to contact us. But if you want to work with me, here's what a bonus that I have for you. I have got a course that's called From Goal Setting into Goal Getting, and it talks about the 6 ways you can hold yourself back and how you can then move forward by using the very things, the very triggers that were going to hurt you, and then using those triggers now to actually help you. Because I don't want you to be completely dependent upon me to have this happen. I want you to learn how to move from motivation into inspiration yourself. So reach out to me via text 636-699-7791. Tell me you want to consult with Dawn. Goal Getting. And what I'll do is I'll add on that course to your rapid results hypnosis package because you get a session with me. You also get a follow-up phone coaching call with me. I'm also going to give you lifetime access to a self-hypnosis course where you're taught how to do this for yourself. But I'm going to add in from goal setting into goal getting so we can start turning your dreams into reality. So I want to make sure that I'm the right fit for you. This is the reason why I want to have a conversation with you. I'm not going to send you to a buy link. I want to have a conversation with you to make sure I'm the right fit. This way, we take the risk out of it. So send me a text, 636-699-7791. Say Dawn Consult Goal Getting, because I'm only going to offer this, for the, through the 3rd week of July. That's it. So you're going to have to take action. All right, let's wrap this up now into your plan of action. Step number 1, figure out the one area that you want to work on as far as lack of motivation. Step number 2, look at how willpower avoidance, impulsivity, compulsion, and then exhaustion has actually been playing against you. Step number 3, look at your 5 to thrive and ask yourself how your identity will improve and then how that's going to ripple out and improve the identity in the next area. And then step number 4, reach out to me personally if you're ready to turn this into your reality. So until we get together on your consultation, blessings on your brilliance, because when you're better, the entire world is better.